I don't know if this can be fixed. Like, what more do they want from me? How much time do you have? Because I know your billables are just crazy.
Yeah, my billables are a little high.
Let's start from the top. I control 85% of the entire market. Like 85%. In 2020, I was the best selling auto manufacturer out there on the planet. Like everybody else was stuck in pandemic, halts. And, you know, here I was, a company that the Bears love to short against. All of a sudden it's like, hey, people start to recognize my greatness. And then all of a sudden, boom, somebody just had to stand on one of my cars.
So
That was a lot. By now, you should know who I am. I'm Tesla. I make cars that go super duper fast. And on top of that, I pretty much have defined the electric vehicle market.
tell me, what's going on?
Now, everybody always looks at me as if I'm like just a one hit wonder, like I'm Vanilla Ice or something like that. But I'm so much more than that. Like, I produce the dopest vehicles, in which that honestly, don't worry, I'm getting more affordable.
All right.
But at the same token, it's like, look, I mean, energy company, and on top of that, what we're doing for, transportation, climate change, and also thinking about the autonomous driving market. Like, none of these other players can literally do even what I do on on my worst day.
Oh,
Well, I mean, unless you're Nikola, right? Well, they don't do anything. I mean, think about it. It's like everybody's always talking about like GM this or Ford this. It's like, okay, I get it. They got the Ford F-150, and I don't even know what GM's best selling car is. I mean, I don't even think they know. And then on top of that, it's like they have to sell so many cars, but yet at the same token, it's like I don't have to sell that many cars, though I will get there. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm coming. Like, I'm coming to like literally like take over this entire market. And it's like, yo, it's like, what is it that we're doing for people not to like us? I mean, think about it. I mean, they wanted cars that look sexy. I mean, it's literally written into our fabric. Like, our entire first lineup of cars was sexy. Model S, 3, X, and Y, sexy. And then on top of that, we have autopilot, which I get it. Like, everybody's a little bit skeptical to it and, those types of things. I mean, there's 40,000 vehicles that get into car accidents every single year by internal combustion engines that cause deaths. And let me have one car crash. Then I got to NTSB, the NHT, whatever their acronyms are. Whoa, dude, it's like I'm on my way to becoming a $1 trillion company. I mean, people just think like I should just like snap my fingers and then all of a sudden full self-driving is there. And then I should snap my fingers again and then we're just an energy company all over again. Like, who does that? When full self-driving comes out, it's about to be straight up lit. Like, absolutely lit. You think that $10,000 is a lot. Watch me drop this $100 subscription on y'all. And the bears, like, I don't understand them. I get it. It's like, yo, it's like if you want to value me like, AT&T or, many of the other auto manufacturers, and that's cool, but come on, they suck. Like, they legit suck. Like, okay, Ford F-150, the vehicle only sells here in the United States. I'm like around the world. Anything else about the criticism there? Or we're just gonna. They spend billions of dollars every year to advertise their vehicles for somebody to even pay attention. You know what my greatest advertisement is? My customers drive my car. There's no other need for advertisement. The vehicle sells itself. The fact that you just automatically step into a Tesla vehicle and your cool points go up by like 10 to 25 points. I mean, come on, you can't. Are you going to do that in a Ford Focus? So what do I do? Like, I guess this is the part where you fix it. So let's start to unpack some of that. Lord help me. Where do we start? Let's start with, so what's wrong with having other players in the same space with you? I mean, you mentioned that you control 85% of the market, which is kudos to you. Like, congratulations. I know that that's very hard, especially since there's a lot of naysayers in my camp. And you've shined bright. So, congratulations. But what's wrong with having other, auto manufacturers like the Fords, the GMs, the Nikolas, the Neos of the world? Yeah, you're right. There's nothing wrong with having other players in the space, I guess. But come on, Doctor, they suck. Okay. My vehicles are already here. Like, my innovation is like in motion. Most of them are just giving us still concepts. I mean, and videos that have been created in Unity or, Unity's engine or, for example, Unreal Engine. I mean, some of them even have to push their vehicles down the hill. So they're not like me. This is something that I eat, sleep, drink, and breathe. Innovation. Like, I've got that coming out my pores. Mm-hmm. I just don't think that any of them are on my level. So, your CEO is brilliant. Congratulations. Your CEO, Elon Musk, is brilliant. But he's kind of somewhat of a wild card, don't you think? Yeah. I mean, he does have a habit of promising a lot of things, but yet they tend not to come out on time. Care to address that? First of all, Elon is just, he's phenomenal. I mean, don't get me wrong, we had like 2 phenomenal founders that were here with us from the start, and they're no longer here anymore. But I mean, like, look at how much like astronomically cooler that we are. I mean, you have to put that into perspective. And with that, I mean, you can say the same thing about Steve Jobs. Does anybody talk about Steve Jobs not delivering a product on time? No. And the reason why is because of the fact that his innovation separated leader from follower. And that's exactly what we're doing. We are literally like, I mean, do you not see the trail of folks that are following us? I mean, think about it. You got Neo that is literally trying to practice what we did like years ago, which is the battery swap. And we like literally said, hey, Neo, you just run with that. And then on top of that, you got GM, which, they say that they're going to produce 30 vehicles. But I mean, could we at least have one that somebody would want to buy? And then we have Ford, in which that we hear that they come out with this Ford F-150. But what about the rest of the vehicles? And that Mustang? Please. Like, Elon has literally, like, think about every single vehicle, including the Cybertruck. Though that people say that that thing looks like a polygon shape, look at the amount of people that want to buy it. That's what matters. It's the innovation. And, sometimes innovation needs a break. Or sometimes innovation just sleeps a little bit longer. So some people say that you're a bit overvalued. Like, for example, what places you in the same category of the Apples, the Microsofts, the Facebooks, the Googles, the Amazons of the world, where they're highly valued to a certain T, but look at what they've been able to produce over a period of time. So what justifies you in this place? And then on top of that, like right now, so to speak, you want to get there, but, why should people invest in you today versus saying, you know what, I should wait on you to grow up a little bit and maybe come back and, talk to you again. Let's just put it into perspective, shall we? Apple is trying to be like us, or they're trying to tap in our space so that way they can grab some of that revenue. And, kudos to you, Apple. I mean, whatever that we don't, have. I mean, I'm probably sure that all those folks who pre-ordered Nikolas, they will love to drive the Apple car. And then on top of that, if you think about it, it's like, I'm kind of like the sun, and many of these other companies are like the spotlights. And so if we really put it into perspective, I am doing a lot here. I mean, let's just break down what I bring to the table. Let me establish my value real quick. So one, I mean, cars. We already know what was it, who it was. It's me. And then on top of that, we also have two. We have insurance company, which, I mean, think about it. I'm already in California and I'm getting ready to come into like Illinois, Texas, and Washington State. I mean, and once I take that, then I'm pretty much going to run the whole table. And then on top of that, look at the manufacturing plants that I'm like just literally just killing it. Not only just on the vehicle part, but just look at the batteries. I mean, come on. Like, can anybody even top that? Though that we hear about all these like, oh, well, 400, 500, 600 miles. I'd love to see that on the actual road. Let's not talk about the energy company. Now, I know that you're saying that, well, hey, I haven't quite solidified that yet. And don't get me wrong, I'm working on that. I really, really am. And you will see my greatness once it shines bright and everybody literally has power. I mean, just imagine this. It's like if everybody utilize what is it that I truly, truly bring to the table and really wakes up and gets into formation. I mean, just think about it. I mean, would Texas really have had like that type of energy problem if everybody had Tesla solar? But yet I'm overvalued, right? Okay. And then on top of that, if we're thinking about like, my AI platform that I'm going to release, I mean, I got like albums that are going to drop that where people are already like selling out on a pre-ordered album that hasn't even dropped yet. I mean, let that sink in. Like my AI dojo is going to be lit. And my full self-driving technology, I mean, perspective here. There is a startup that has started in New York. And all their vehicles are, you guessed it, me. Look out, Uber. We're coming for you. Okay. So to sit back and say that I'm overvalued? No. I think I've intertwined myself so much into the market and into so many different sectors that honestly, I think that we need to have a better audit. And I think that the current auditing system of what we kind of like deem as valuable companies, I think I'm a little bit undervalued if we really put it into perspective. But, that's just me. Now we get into the question about your grades. There's no easy way to say this, but so let's just jump straight into it. So your last quarter, you did great. Delivery vehicles, great. We didn't really get any guidance, which kind of like lets us know where you're going. But, we're kind of piecing it together. But there's questions about whether or not you cheat, to get the grades that you have. I don't cheat. No. No. I do not cheat. Oh, okay. Are they really basing it off of like the credits that I get and then I sell those over to somebody else? I mean, honestly, that's what business is. That's not cheating. I mean, honestly, I'm just rewriting what the standard should be. I welcome the competition. I really, really do. So for me to say that I cheated, no, I had a blockbuster quarter. And on top of that, lo and behold, I had a blockbuster quarter with a chip supply shortage. I mean, think about it. You couldn't find a chip anywhere, and look at how much we delivered. And then on top of that, I mean, look at all the things in which that we've had to do. Like, we went through a pandemic, and we still rocked the house. So, yeah, people are a little bit up in arms about, oh, well, I didn't give guidance. I mean, I didn't want to lie to y'all and give you some far-fetched number out of the sky. I gave you, perspective on something in which that, if you really put it in perspective, you'll see, what we bring to the table. And you'll see that what our numbers could look like. I mean, I'm not going to sit out there and say, oh, well, yeah, we're going to deliver, 1 million vehicles by the end of the year. And then all of a sudden, fall like so short and then give all those bears a reason to wake up from their hibernations. I mean, no, they need to go to sleep. And so honestly, it's like, no, we don't cheat. We tell the truth. Most companies that lie have PR departments. Why? Because they have somebody that needs to spin the story. We don't do that. We don't spin stories. We are all about data. And on top of that, we're all about our customers and letting them tell the story on our behalf. Anything else about the criticism there? Or we're just gonna... Can I just say one final thing?
Okay.
I think that people have overreacted about me. I think that people are overreacting because they see the younger generation fully accept me because of the fact that I'm writing the standard for what their generation will be. And the people in whom wish that, that I came in that generation, they automatically get it. And I think it's just the fact that there's a lot of folks that are out there in your world that just don't understand me yet. And I think that they just really just need to take the time to get to know me. I mean, you can get to know me by just like going for a test drive. I mean, hey, you stand a higher chance of not catching any type of, illness and, one, test driving, one of my vehicles, or essentially even being delivered one of my vehicles. Let that sink in. You don't have to go sit there and, barter with some person that you don't like on some, used car lot. I mean, what you see is what you get. And you know the value in which that you're buying. So I feel like people are not giving me a fair shake and understanding truly, truly, truly what is it that I've done to change, really your world. And I think that a lot more people are coming to adapting to what is it that I truly, truly bring. And honestly, I mean, you don't have to sell 30 vehicles in order to be great. Look at me. I only got like 4 vehicles, a semi truck on the way, a cyber truck, and let's not forget about a roadster that I'm going to, release to the masses in due time. If you really put that into perspective, that's really 7 vehicles. So I think that you're brilliant. I think that you have a great future ahead of you. I think that sometimes that you have this habit of over-promising and under-delivering. I think that you need to get a little bit better there. I think that honestly, yes, all great things take time. So I think that, with that, I think that your share price will also sometimes be indicative of that people, are probably still trying to understand who you are. And the fact that you being disruptive, I mean, you're an innovative company that is completely disruptive, though that there's really nothing super duper significant about, electric vehicles since GM kind of started it. Again, no shade. But you perfected it and you made it even cooler. But I think that, with that, you kind of got to slow it down a little bit. Mm-hmm. I think that in the long run, you'll get there. But, you're going to have folks that are going to want to trade or bet against you because of the fact that, honestly, you're still new and you're being compared towards some of the other titans within your industry or strees. That you're going to be compared against, and you're going to have to, show and prove to the rest of us that, that you can literally stand on your own 2 feet and literally stand tall against your competitors. Oh, you're rude. Okay. I think that, you can do that. I think that the biggest thing is that you definitely believe in yourself, so you're nothing shy of that. But also, you just gotta just dial it back a little bit, dude. Just enjoy being, a young, company that's still like freshly in its prime. And understand this, you're going to have haters. And most of the time you're going to have those haters that are going to hate on you because they don't understand you. And if you can get past that, then ultimately we can get past some of these small little tiffs or tit for tats that you have within the market or with the SEC and, NH, whatever their acronyms are. You'll get past those things, and ultimately you'll be just Tesla, the brilliant, person. So I think that you're doing just fine. Just grow up a little bit. That's all. Yes, grow up. Okay? You got this. That is fair. That is a fair statement. All right. So, I've got a few sessions available, not next week, but maybe, next quarter. We could probably just have another check-in and see how you're doing. You know that you can always hit my line just to make sure that if there's ever an emergency, though that honestly, tweets do not count as emergency cryouts for help. So if you do have an emergency, feel free to hit my secretary, aka the S&P 500, and we'll get back to you at our earliest convenience and help you out with any of those issues. But again, before you jump to Twitter and start tweeting out your feelings, just take a step back, breathe, and realize, you're an innovative company. You've got a lot of road ahead of you. Don't, throw that all away just for 160 characters or 320, whatever they call it now. I'll see you next quarter. And now I got my next session with Nicola. You better check my track record. Watch what I do with these Model X's and Model S's. Shoot, you heard that call with Elon? I'll see you next quarter, all right. Watch me.